Hi and welcome everybody. This is Mario from XPPen and welcome to our first edition of the XPPen podcast. Today our guest is Sahlarei. Our intention with this podcast is to bring different artists and get to know them and get to know a little bit about their background story, how they got started, and we'll chat a little bit with Sahlarei today. Okay, great. In the chat, guys, please let me know if you can hear me well. Give me a 1 for the sound. Give me a good for the video right there. Okay. Alright, guys. If you guys can hear me well, please let me know and type 1 over there. Okay. So today we'll be covering a little bit of Sahlarei's background. What does it mean to become an independent artist? How to make a living being an artist? And we will also touch on the contest feedback that we are running right now. We're running a contest every month, and you're still on time if you want to participate on that. The theme of this month contest is XPPen Crazy World. Crazy World is the theme. So you can check that on our TikTok page if you guys want, okay? And finally, we'll be closing with some tips for aspiring artists. If you like to support our podcast, guys, there is a way you can do so. And you can also enter an opportunity to win a Deco L giveaway. So today we have a giveaway, and it is Deco L, Deco LW. And if you want to participate for that Deco LW, what you gotta do is share our stream right now, okay? We will be choosing the winner of this giveaway at the end of the live stream, okay? So on the screen right now, you can see how you can do so. You basically have to copy the stream from YouTube and share it as a post on your Instagram or on your TikTok, okay? Copy the link, tag XPPen, and put the hashtag XPPen podcast. We will be taking a look at this after we finish with the podcast, and we will select a random winner. So once again, if you want the chance to win a Deco LW, and if you want to support our podcast, share the podcast in your Instagram or in your TikTok, or both. You might have a higher chance to win if you share it on both, okay? If you guys have any questions, also please ask on the chat. We will be looking at the chat a little bit later on the stream, okay? So we'll jump in with Sahlarei now, and we'll talk about her story, and after that we'll take a look at some of the contest entries, and finally we will do some Q&A for the audience, okay? So please make sure you share the stream right now so that you can enter that giveaway for the contest, okay? All right, I'll give you a minute to do so right now. All right. Hello. Welcome, Sahlarei.
Hi,
All right.
thank you for being here.
All right. My pleasure. Good to have you here again. Okay. And all right. So let's start. Let's just jump right into it. Okay. So, Sahlarei, you've been collaborating with us for a few times, but this is the first time I think we're gonna talk about your story as an artist and your career as an artist as well. So, if you may, please tell us a little bit of where you grew up, your school years. Did you start learning art from when you were very young? Were there people around you supporting you? How was this?
Well, it's kind of funny because I've always been, into art stuff. I danced, I played violin, I was in theater, I sang. So, like, I did a lot of things, but I also drew since I was a little girl. But the thing is that when I grew up, I was like, choosing a career. I wanted to go into college. But then I failed. I kind of not got into the university that I wanted to go in. That was, about visual arts, not specifically drawing, but visual arts in general, like like oil painting and blah 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 blah. But that I didn't got in, so I didn't get in. So the thing is that I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna study, art history. So I'm an art historian, actually. Like that's my,
Okay.
degree. But then when I was finishing my career, I was like, okay, I don't like this. I've always, like drew when I was in class, my teachers, and like they took my pages and were like, you don't draw, like just don't draw. So I was like, okay, maybe I can get into drawing. Maybe I can do that because I never before, 2000, before 2020 actually, I've never got into an art school. Like I never, like took any kind of class, drawing class or something. So everything I drew before, it was just like like me trying to copy what I saw, and that's it. I didn't understand what was happening. I was just like drawing. So then in 2020, I decided to go to an art school. But I'm from Mexico. I'm actually from Mexico, from a city called Querétaro. And here in Mexico, there is not a lot of, places where you can go and study, specifically like concept art or digital art or illustration. So it was really hard to find something here that could fulfill everything that I needed in a short amount of time because I was like 22 years old and I already felt old. And I was like, I need to learn as quickly as possible. So I went to Singapore to a school called 3D Sense Media School. So then I learned digital art for, like a year. It was really sad because COVID was not existing at the beginning of 2020 and then it existed. So it was really sad because I was like, half year, cool. And the other half year was really bad because of the COVID thing. And I was away from my family. But anyway, I think that that's how I started, like more professionally and more focused on what I wanted to do. Because before that, I was just like drawing as a hobby. But then I thought maybe I need to, I am good at this. I think that I am good at this. Maybe I'm not the best, but I am good and I can be better if I have the correct guidance from the correct people and I learn from the correct places. So I went there, I studied there, and then I came back to Mexico, and I was like, okay, what should I do now? But that was my story, and I am really grateful because I think that I am one lucky person because, first of all, I had the privilege of going to study to another country. And it's really hard sometimes from someone of Latin America to do that because yeah, money is and yeah, we don't have a lot of money in these places. It's really hard to get the correct amount of money to go to another country and then um study there or live there or anything. And also because I feel lucky because my parents never told me no, you can't study art. Actually, I was going to study either art or medicine because my dad is uh like a
Doctor.
doctor and it was
Okay.
like really funny. But I was like, okay, no, like I am good at that, but
Okay.
I am better at drawing. I am better at art. I've been doing that all my life. I mean, maybe not drawing, but I was playing violin, I was dancing ballet, I was on theater, so I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. And when I told them, like, hey, I want to do this, they were always supportive. Like, they were never, like, no, that's not a real job or something.
Okay.
They always supported me. They always, like, promote my stuff. They always are there for me. So I am really grateful about that. But I do know there's a lot of people who don't have that luck. Like,
Mm.
their parents are like, no, that's not a real job. That's not
Right.
something that you need to do. Like, study first something that it's a real job, or do something real, and then you can draw whatever. And I know that it can be really, really hard for some people to do that. But if I can give you some advice, is that you do not need to go to an art school
Mm.
to, like, be an artist. Because I know a lot of people that are right now in the industry, like, working for amazing companies, or, like, just freelancing,
Mm.
or making art and selling merch of their art without
Right.
going to an art school. So that's a question that a lot of people ask me, like, do
Right.
I need to go to an art school? And it's like, no, you can learn on the internet. There's a lot of tutorials right now, especially for the people that speak Spanish,
Right.
as me. There's a lot of new content and tutorials,
Yeah.
good tutorials to learn how to draw, how to improve. And it was hard when I was learning in, like 2010 or something. I just had my first tablet and I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know how to use, like, I was, I think, using Paint Tool Sai at that moment. I didn't understand anything. And it was really hard for me. But right now I think that there's a lot of information there, even like in your language. So it's
Right.
easier for you to learn and to improve and, like, just go about it.
Yeah. So those are very different career paths, right? Like you were about to go to into medicine, maybe, or into art, like a very big fork in the road, right there. But like you knew that you liked art because like you were a dancer and you played the violin. Do you still play violin, by the way?
I think that I forgot it because
Okay.
I stopped, like, practicing when I went to college, and I was like, okay,
Okay.
I haven't played that since 7 years, maybe.
Right.
Maybe if you give it to me, I can try it, but I think that I
Okay.
forgot it.
All right. But you were experimenting with like different types of arts, music, dancing, and and you said like in 2010 you were already using a tablet, you were already drawing?
Yeah, I was trying to, because
Okay.
I think that most of the digital artists that I know, including myself, we started with, like, a paper and
Right.
a pencil or something. So I got into deviant art and something, and I saw, like, digital art exist, and I was like, oh my god, I love this. I want to try this. So I got, like, my first tablet,
Mm.
but I didn't know how to use it. I didn't use it properly.
Right.
So it all just went bad with the tablet, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Interesting like background story. So you had the opportunity and to go to Singapore, and for you is that where you like is that where you knew like okay, I'm well you said like I'm good at this, I can get better and I want to learn more, so you went all in. Is that when you like went all in on it?
Yeah, because before that, as I told you, I was just
Yeah.
like scribbling in class, like,
Right.
drawing random stuff. I think that I also drew it on an iPad or something, but it was not serious. It was just like a hobby or something I did when I was, like, anxious at class or something. But then I was like, okay, I like to do this, and maybe I can, work and earn money with this. So when I went to Singapore, I was like, okay, I'm spending a lot of money to learn this and to
Right.
get better, because it was like a lot of money. Singapore is real expensive.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I feel old. I know that I'm not old, but I felt old. I was like, I'm already 22. I'm going to get 23. So I was like, okay, I just need to do it. I need to focus. And that was, like, the point where I chose to just go for it.
Right. Okay. So that you had like a moment before going to Singapore that you said, uh, "I want to go all in," on it. And you knew somehow that you could make a living out of this, or were you like hesitant, or like you had no doubt in your mind that you could make it as an independent artist?
It was really hard because I was working before. As I told you, I was an art
Okay.
historian. I was a tour guide in one of the
Oh,
museums here at Mexico City. So I was there and I was like, nah, I hate this. I just can't do this anymore. And I wasn't sure. When I went there, I was like, okay, I'm spending a lot of money. My parents are spending a lot of money to get me here.
right.
I need to study and to get better. But I wasn't sure if I could do it, especially when I, like ended all my studies there. It was 1 year there. When I came back to Mexico, it was really hard for me because I was like, okay, what do I do now? Because I think that's the problem of a lot of artists. We're like, okay, I want to do this, but you don't know where to start. You
Right.
don't know what are the paths or how to get in there. So I think that was my problem. I knew how to draw now, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how could I earn money. So I was like, hesitant. I was like, okay, maybe I can't do it. I will go back to the museum or not. But I think that all the pieces of a puzzle just got in, and some of my decisions helped me to, like go through it and just like, make a living out of art for me.
Right. Does it really feel like two different skills? Because maybe a lot of people are really talented when it comes to art, but they are not talented when it comes to making a living out of it and monetizing it.
Yeah, I think that those are two really different skills because there's something that I like to tell people, and it's like just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you need to work or
Mm-hmm.
to need to monetize it.
Right.
Because I knew a lot of people that are really good at painting and drawing and everything, but they just get really stressed and anxious and they cannot make a living out of art.
Right.
So I think that there are two different skills that you need to join them in order that you can live from art, because it's really easy to get burned out, or
Right.
it's really easy to end up hating what you loved, because before it was a hobby, it was maybe your way of relaxing or something, and then now it's your job.
Right.
So it's really hard to, like fit that and make it work. So yeah, I think that those are two really different skills.
Okay. All right. So we're moving on right now, sort of with that to our second question. So if I can put it here right now, and that is about becoming an independent artist. And well, you already briefly touched on that, but and you already said like when this idea came about was before you went to Singapore, because you were, I mean, you felt old, but I think you were young still. I mean, and uh, and you were working at the time. You were so you already finished your studies by then, right? All right. And so, what challenges did you? I mean, aside from the fact like you go to Singapore and the COVID started, being away from home and all that, what challenges did you face in that initial phase, and then what challenges have you faced, throughout your career as an independent artist?
I think that the first challenges that you get into is that most of the people, including myself, I thought, that the only way that you can live from art is, doing commissions for other people, or working for a company, as an illustrator or as a concept artist. So a lot of people get kind of like frustrated with that, because there's people like me that don't really like, like drawing for other people. Like it gets really stressed. I did that for like the first 6 months that I came back from Singapore to Mexico. So I discovered like, oh my god, I hate working for other people. It really stresses me out. But it's like, what can you do if you don't want to, like work for other people? I still do it occasionally, just like, like one or two commissions per month or something, for friends or for people that are paying me, like commercial use commissions that are more expensive. So it's like, okay, maybe I can suffer, but I earn money from that suffering, so I'm like, fine. Or for some collabs with other brands or something. But what I discovered, it's, like, for me, my safe place was merch. Like making merch out of your art, and a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that you can actually earn quite well with your merch. And what do you do as merch? Like drawings that you like and enjoy. So for me, it's like I love making certain type of like drawings, so then I can produce them into notebooks, into sketchbooks, into pens, into stickers, a lot of things. And I actually enjoy talking to people. So for me, selling merch was like my, oh my gosh, discovery that I was really happy, because I can live from the stuff I make. And I love making. So for me, commissions is an extra money. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong about like working for companies as a concept artist or as an illustrator, or for other people, making commissions. But for me, I found my safe place in merch, because I discovered that I got really depressed, anxious, and a lot of things when I was working for other people. Plus, in that time when I arrived to Mexico, I knew that social media was a powerful tool to, like, search for clients or make your work go and be discovered by more people. And I knew that TikTok in that moment was huge. But I felt old also for TikTok. And I was like, this is really young social media thing, kids things. I understand it. So but I thought, like, okay, I need to get into TikTok, because that way I can get more people to my other socials. That was my initial idea. I never thought that TikTok would become my first and primary social media. And I began, like, uploading speed paints to TikTok. But on TikTok, speed paints are not really good to get people, because a lot of people, it's like, I can watch a speed paint on another social. But then I was watching TikTok, and I was scrolling down, and I found a drawing tutorial in Spanish. I always tell this story because it's really funny. And I saw that tutorial, and I was like, damn, this is a really bad tutorial. And a really bad drawing tutorial. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can make it better. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, explain what this person was trying to explain. Because that person, I think, that was explaining why some digital artists create, like a gray background on the back,
Mm-hmm.
of the drawings, and they, like, start painting, but on top of that gray background. And a lot of people didn't understand that. So I explained that, and that video went viral. And I was like,
Wow.
why? Yeah. I was like, okay, maybe I can help people, because I felt really frustrated when I saw that tutorial, because I remembered when I was like in 2010
Mm.
trying to learn digital art, and I didn't understand a thing. Because English was really hard for me to
Mm.
learn from, and also because in Spanish there was not a lot of information.
Right.
So it was like, okay, I learned from really amazing pro artists on the other side of the world. Why not sharing with the people from Latin America and Spain what I learned from them in my language? And like, everything that I've been learning, try to like, translate it, try to express it, and try to like, share it with people, because I know that frustration.
Mm.
Like, oh god, English is so hard for me, or oh no, like, like, it's so hard to learn English, and I don't know English. So for me, it was like, yeah, I need to do it. I just started uploading tutorials, and I think that that helped me to get known in the Latin American community, especially. Not talking about Spain, but they know me. But I think that my main community is here in Latin America. So I think that that's the reason that a lot of people began to know me, to know about my content, to know about my drawing. So I, took advantage about those tutorials, and I was like, okay, if I am going to explain something, I don't know how to paint gold, I am gonna use my drawings to express it. So a lot of people began associating my content, educational content, but also began to recognize my drawings, because I use them in the tutorials. So they were looking at the tutorial, but at the same time they were looking at my drawing, and they were like, "Oh, okay, the girl who does tutorials on TikTok, but also the girl who draws these type of things." So for me right now, I don't even have the necessity to do that anymore, because a lot of people, like, I post a drawing like in any other social, not TikTok or Instagram, maybe Facebook. And I usually post that without my, like, Sahlarei nickname,
Mm.
like, with my, own account. And a lot of people already recognize what I draw. and my style. But that was because I began to do, tutorials with my drawings to make people, like begin to, like memorize how my style worked, but also teaching them how do I do that and how did my instructors told me to do that.
Right.
So I think that that's how I started it. I was like, okay, I want to be a social media artist because that was the path that I chose. There are a lot of social media artists out there because, as I told you, it's not like you can only, be a concept artist or an illustrator for a company. No, you can literally be a lot of things. You can be a teacher, you can be a social media artist, you can be a merch artist, a lot of stuff that you can do. So I was like, okay, I want to be a merch artist, but also a social media artist because I enjoy sharing and I enjoy
Mm.
talking and I enjoy a lot of things about socials. So when I decided that, I was like, okay, what are the things that I want people to recognize about my work and my videos and everything? So for me, it was the educational part, but also like, I love glitter. I love Barbies. I love painting women. So that's things that people already know about me. Like
Right.
even Hugo, I remember a lot from the tournament. He was like, "Oh yeah, the Barbie girl." Like he already knew what I drew without
Okay.
knowing me for more than, like 1 hour, 2 hours maybe.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't like, I'm a brand. I think myself as a brand.
Mm.
At the end of the time, a lot of artists are brands, like even other like big, big social media artists like Santos Art or something like that. They are brands.
Mm.
So the way that I think myself is like, yeah, I can be a friendship. Like I can be a friendly brand, but I am at the end of the day a brand. So that helped me to, like make pick a niche for my social, like content, and also to, like choose a path about what was I gonna do. So that was the hard part at the beginning. And now I think that it's, like maintaining that content, because sometimes right now it's like, oh, I don't have enough time as I had before, because I need to, like do a lot of things. But I think that it's being constant also, like the hard part right now.
Right. So yeah, we see. So Barbie is on the on your theme as an artist. Could you describe a bit more, like how would you describe your artist to people who are like maybe unfamiliar with it, or people who don't know like the terminology of like different art styles? Uh, what do you draw? And I mean, you draw maybe everything, but what's your niche and how would you describe it?
I think that my niche is, like nostalgic, like female gaze experiences. Like what do I mean about that? Like all those type of like really bad but really amazing movies that were, like playing when I think that a lot of girls and queer people we saw in our childhood, like Barbie, Bratz, all these doll things, Winx Club, Magical Girls, etc. I found my niche there because
Okay.
those are things that I enjoy painting, and it shows, I think, because I love painting girls, but really specific, like, I collect dolls. So for
Right.
me, it's like
We can
I
see a
want to
little bit of
show
the
the love.
back.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of the back. So I collect dolls, and I was like, I mean, like maybe it's a really, like a small niche, but for me it's really special. And I was like, why there isn't like a lot of fun arts about Barbie and everything? Like it was my childhood, and I think that
Right.
a lot of people could identify with that in their childhood. So I was like, maybe I can draw that. And I also mix that with my love for classical painting. As you know, I'm an art historian.
Right.
So for me, like Renaissance, Baroque, Rococo, and all those type of like artistic movements really inspire me. I love classical painting. So I try to mix both of them, like, and also my love for anime. Because
Mm.
at the end of the day, anime helped me a lot to find my way, and also it was really inspiring for me. Some, like micro girl animes, Tokyo Mew Mew, Sailor Moon, and everything. So I try to mix it and do something that I feel that it's really, like it's not that it's not for men, but I think that my niche is just like queer people and girls who love, like glitter and all those type of girly stuff. And that's my aim with my drawings.
Okay. Awesome. Um, what do you think about the current situation? Like having said that, like for example, for you, you found uh, that merge was a good outlet for you as an independent artist. What do you think about the opportunities today? Is the market saturated? I think you can make an argument for both things. Right now, is like there's more opportunity than ever before, or you could also make the argument for like, oh, right now it's so saturated, you can't do anything. AI is taking over. You know, how do you view if you want to become an artist today, uh, what's the situation right now?
I think it's going to be hard. In history, it has always been hard to be an artist and to make a living for it. So it's not something new, but it's something that it's going to change a little bit of the workflow. Like AI right now, it's not being used in a lot of like big studios, for concept art illustration, but maybe it's gonna become like a powerful tool that people are going to need to use in the future. you know so I think that it's really hard to compete against an AI, but I think that it really shows when it's something that an artist make versus a computer. So I think that it's not saturated, but you need to really find out which niche it's the best one for you. Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I didn't get commissions," and it's like, well, maybe it's because you're offering your art style to someone that isn't gonna like buy that art style. An example, I see a lot of people like drawing really semi-realistic characters and something, and it's like, oh, that's nice, that can work like for D&D players, or maybe World of Warcraft players or something. But you go maybe with that anime-ish type, maybe it's not going to be as like as popular as the semi-realistic style, because most of that people tend to go to the semi-realistic or realistic like style. On the other hand, if you're you want to get commissioned by VTubers, it's like, okay, maybe the semi-realistic or realistic art style is not going to work for them. Maybe you can do some more animation type of like drawing. So a lot of people, I think, that get really frustrated because they can't find the niche for their art, especially if you want to go into commissions. So I think that that would be my advice to people who want to get commissions, like find your niche. Who are the people that maybe are going to like hire you? On the other hand, I think that with studios and everything, I don't know, but I feel that there's a lot and a lot more offering about studios who work on video games, on movies, on like. So I think that it's not saturated. It's just like finding out what do you want to do and how to get there. That's the difficult part of it. But yeah, I think that that would be my opinion.
Okay, all right. It sounds like you have a lot of experience, so I'm sure like people listening, like they appreciate you sharing about that. As part of like, I want to touch again on you getting there, and you forming yourself as an artist. Also, what have been the possible challenges that you have faced as a young female artist like yourself?
I think that for me, it's mostly the type of things that I draw, and also because I am a girl. It's like a combination of things. Because I feel that a lot of women who do, like more cute styles or more, like feminine type of art or something are not taken really seriously. Like for me, it's always like I've always seen this. Like there's a dude on TikTok, like drawing beautiful sexy ladies. Nobody asked him like, why don't you draw like environments, why don't you draw male characters? And that's weird because for me it's always like, why don't you draw male characters, why don't you draw some environments? I'm like, I draw them, I can do them, but I don't want to because I just want to draw this.
Okay.
So for me, like, that's the difficult part, because sometimes I feel like as young as women's, like not even young, like as women's, we are like, people tend to like ask from us a lot more than from other artists, and it's like, I just want to draw this. If you want someone who can draw a male or an environment go to another artist. There's a lot of amazing artists who do environments and male characters, maybe not me. And I think that also the type of the like themes that we tend to do, like a lot of women, we draw like cute things, kawaii things, maybe not me, but like I'm more into the glitter part of it. We are not taken seriously. Sometimes I know that a lot of my pals, female art pals, are not taken seriously because they don't draw something like um really academic or something. They just draw like like kawaii cats or something, and it's like it's another type of art, and it's like amazing because people like it and they make a living from that. So I think that that's the challenge that you face most of the time, especially if you're a woman, but or a queer person. But also, if you don't want to, like draw everything, maybe you get a niche and you draw only that. People are gonna question you. Also, because for me, I think that because I give art tips and some people come to me for feedbacks. Um, no one has told me anything or something, but sometimes for me I feel a pressure about like I need to be better and better and better and improve, because how can I give advice if I cannot be better? So that's something I have, but and it's something that I'm working on, but it kind of happens, and that is one of the like hard parts about being one educational content creator, especially in art, because you need to be good so people can trust your advice, because if you're not good enough they are not going to trust your advice. So
Yeah.
that's also one of the problems that I've been having a lot with myself.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. You need to be good to give advice first. In that aspect, like, what were some of your teachers, or who are like your current influences, that who are the people that right now you like to learn from, for example?
Well, when I went to Singapore, I went there because of Arjun. Arjun is a cover artist for Marvel and DC, and I was just a big fan of him. So I was like, oh my god, he's giving me classes, and I was really happy. I really love his art style, and I think that it can show some of the influence he left on me on my drawings right now. I also love Jasmine Darnell, or Yaheme at Daya.heme. She draws really like beautiful ladies, but also with like baroque dresses, Victorian
Mm-hmm.
dresses, and that's like, oh yeah, ruffled dresses, I love them. I get it. So I love her. I love Sarah Fleur. She inspired me a lot into the like glittery art styles and something. But I also like a lot like Chinese concept art, Ranya or Huang Wanyan. I love their art, and for me, it's like most of the artists that inspire me are artists that either paint women or that have really amazing textures. I think that also for my work, I love emulating real world textures,
Right.
on clothing or on everything. And those are artists that inspire me a lot in the way they use the texture. So yeah.
All right. And I wanted to ask also about your audience. You have a very big audience, and a very loyal audience. Like, every time we do something with you, there's tons of people commenting from your audience, and partly like the during the World Cup, for example, you had a very strong fan base right there. And I wonder, how does someone, if you have any tips, how do you grow such an audience, and how do you keep such a loyal fan base like that?
I think that it's just being yourself.
Okay.
I am really a transparent person. Like I cannot pretend something that I am not. It shows, and it's a gift, but also it can be a curse for me. That because maybe if I don't like someone, it's gonna show. So it's like, okay, no, that's bad. But I think that I'm really honest with the way that I express myself, and also honest with the things that I draw. Like I'm not drawing that stuff because I want to get popular. I draw that stuff because I love it, and I think that it shows that. I love teaching and I love sharing the knowledge that I have, and I think that it also shows. So that's something that people tend to like in social media. When you find someone that it's kind of like truth, it's not a character or it's not something else. So I think that a lot of people, like felt identified with my content, identified and felt also safe. That's I also think the word that I would like to use, like, that my content and my community feels like a safe space for them, especially for women and like LGBT community. So it's safe for them. So that's the reason that they support me a lot, because most of the times I try to keep this safe place for them, and also to be true to myself, and not only like safe, like happy place, but also a safe space with where we can learn, because it's really hard to find someone and a place where you can learn and people get to be respectful with you. That's really hard, because I've known a lot of stories about like teachers being really mean to students, to art students, or either like other artists being mean to other artists. So I try to build something that could be safe, because I know how it feels to be humiliated by a teacher. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to do that. I want people to learn. I want people to get better. I want people who want to, like, be an illustrator, a concept artist, or something, to find a safe place in me, and to share this community and this knowledge. And I think that was the really important part. Like, people who can feel safe in that community, who can feel identified, but also um, finding you as social media artist, truth to themselves.
Great. Okay. All right. So in a moment we're gonna jump into the chat, and I see already some people commenting. So people in the chat, please like get some questions ready. Right now we're going to take a look at the people participating on the contest, and we'll see some of the entries, and maybe Sahlarei, you can give some feedback on what's out there so far. Guys, if you want to participate on the contest, we have until February 27th. That's the deadline. So just upload your entry and make sure you tag XPPen with the hashtag XPPen Crazy World. All the details are on the first video of our TikTok channel. If you go there, you'll see it. So yeah, so right now, let me prepare here the contest entries. Okay, one sec. Okay, now it should be fine. Okay.
Can you listen to us? ¿Nos escuchan?
Okay.
Hi.
All right, guys, can you hear us now? Can you hear us now? Muted. It's muted. Okay. Now it should be fine. It should be coming through.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
Okay.
I don't know if they're saying about the video or something. Oh, they're saying finally. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's
Okay.
cool.
All right. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they can hear us.
All right. So I want to play a few of those videos. Here we got this one. Okay. Really cool perspective on this one, right?
Yeah, I really like the perspective on that one. It's really amazing.
All right, let's see.
I think that for that perspective one, my only feedback would be like, like the perspective on the character is really amazing. But I feel that, that all the other components, like, like the drink thing, the fries and the hamburger are not in the same perspective. So it
Uh,
would be really good if the person could, like make those also put into the perspective. I think that it could add more depth to the drawing and it could look fine.
oh, I see. I see. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go this one. This one is a more cute style, right?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Are you sure? I don't know what it says in the background. But I think. Are you sure you want to wear that? I think it says on the background. Are you sure you want to eat this? Are you sure you want to eat this? Oh, it's eating the world. All right. Okay. Oh, that's cute.
I love the concept and the idea on that one.
Okay.
I think that the colors are really cool, I think that maybe just adding a little bit more of color or something to the, like main character, like the cute girl at the front,
Okay.
because it will pop out more and maybe it can be, like more appealing to the audience and to look first there because I think that with the stars at the background and everything else, it kind of gets lost. So that would be my only advice, like find a way to make the main character pop out more.
Okay. Awesome. I hope that, I don't know if we have people on the chat that, have participated, but that would be awesome if they're hearing your advice right now. This one put a really funky music right here. I like it. All right. Any thoughts on this one? Is this
On
speed
that one,
painting?
I think that from that one, I love a lot, like the line way, the line art, the style is really, really, really appealing. I think that for me, it would be like maybe um, the white, like all these kind of like lines, like the white line and then some type of, like kind of purplish line. I think that they take a lot from the dynamic black line that the person used to their character. So maybe I would just have left the character with the like black line art, and then just like one flat background. I think that that would be for me because I love the style. I love the dynamic, like it feels really dynamic because of the angles and everything. So it will be my only advice for that one. Maybe just even like taking the purple, like silhouette, and just leaving, like the black and the white one. I would suggest that.
Okay. All right, I'll play this one again. This one has a lot of work on it.
I loved a lot that one. The color palette is really, like cute. I would only suggest if you're going for something, like semi-realistic, just add a little bit more contrast in the values because I think like the shadows, especially in the skin, are really subtle, so you cannot see a lot of the volume. But I think that, the color palette, the idea is really really good. I really love this. Just like add more, a little bit more contrast so we can, like feel and see the volume of the things, like maybe in this place on the hair where it's like close to the face and the neck, maybe a little bit more shadow, maybe like some other places where you can add a little bit more shadow so we can feel the volume. But that would be my advice for this one. I love the idea, and I love the way that you painted this.
Awesome. Okay. They'll be so happy to hear this. I hope they're watching. All right.
I think there's one, yeah, Ghost. I
Yeah.
think that it's here, and Drew, the girl one, the like bluish girl one.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Where is this one? All right. This one has a more fantasy look to it, like a spaceship destroying the world or coming to the world. I don't know. this is this one has the name on there, but I can't all read it.
Oh, this one is amazing. I'm loving the perspective here, and like how they decided that this one's going to be the focal point and everything. I just feel that the white line surrounding the character, like makes it look a little bit more like a sticker instead of,
Mm.
like being into the, like place there. If you want to add rim lights, make sure you just don't add them, like a line there. Try to make the light go through the volume, so maybe, like getting it more here, like the light going more down into the shoulder or something like that. Because sometimes, like rim lights look amazing, but if you add them just like a line, like an outline, it can flatten the picture. So I think that you did a really good job with the volume on the background and everything, but the character feels a little bit like off. It's because of the rim light. So maybe you just try to soften it and try to make the light go through the volume of the place you want to paint it in this, like particular picture. Just like the shoulder, maybe the head. Yeah, but that would be, it's really amazing.
Awesome. All right. And one more. This one I believe is the right now it's one of the most popular ones. A lot of work on this one. Wow. Okay. Ooh.
Oh yeah, this looks like someone who took a lot of time to do this. First of all, I love the line art. Like it's really, really, really clean. So it's hard to make a clean line art, especially look good. But I feel that this is amazing. The style is amazing, and the color palette, it's amazing. I think that my only suggestion would be to add more depth, because right now I feel like the characters are in the same, like at the
Mm.
same place distance from the curtains behind. So maybe adding something to make it feel like the curtains maybe are at the back and the characters are a little bit closer to the camera. Most of the times you can work that with the values, like closer things are usually darker, like they have more dark values, and things that are far away tend to have less dark values and just like lighter values. So maybe that can help to, like separate them so we can feel like something is behind them. But I love the color palette, and I think that it's really, really cool. And just one suggestion, I think that with the hand of the person that it's, like in the bath, the one that it's on top of the, like the, I don't know, like the bed and the leg or something, that it's not holding the hand. That one, maybe just like the little finger, make it a little bit larger, because right now I feel it's really really small. So yeah, but that would be my suggestions. It's really cool, all these entries.
Okay, awesome. All right, I hope everybody has gotten some tips, and if there were some people online, that would be awesome. Okay, we're gonna move on to some Q&A. So guys, if you have any questions right now, please put them in the chat. I'm gonna be bringing up the chat right now, and we're gonna do some quick Q&A with Sahlarei. And also, guys, if you want to participate on the contest, that is this month's contest. And all you got to do is go to the TikTok and watch the first video. It will explain everything about how to participate. All right. So type in the chat here. I'm going to type in questions for Sahlarei. Q&A. Yes, the giveaway will be a random giveaway, by the way. So the people who share the live stream during the live stream or at the beginning, they will get a chance to get the Deco LW for today. All right, so we have a question from Brenda Itzel. So Brenda asks, what do you hate to draw? ¿Qué odias dibujar?
I think that I don't like drawing environment. No, not. I kind of like drawing environments, but I hate drawing trees. I don't know why I hate drawing bushes, trees, or any type of, like organic green thing. I just don't like it. Maybe it's because when I was on Singapore, I had some environment assignments, and I had really bad luck because the file got corrupt, and I needed to redo it, like one day before the deadline, and it was horrible. And it involved trees, so maybe that's the reason that I hate trees, but I just don't like drawing trees or bushes or something, like that. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I just don't like it.
Okay. All right. So trees, nature, so no plants. Okay. Uh, what age did you start drawing? ¿A qué edad empezaste a dibujar? It's from Zara
I think
Arisa.
I think that I draw since I was maybe 8 years old, 9 years old, but as I told you, I was just like copying whatever I saw. Like I wasn't thinking about like how this light works and how this color works, and I used to just like drawing Naruto and that type of things. Like I was just like, oh yeah, I like it, I draw it. But when I took it seriously, I was 23 years old, 22 years old. When I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna learn anatomy, I'm gonna learn perspective, I'm gonna learn, like color, I'm gonna learn light. But yeah, so that's I mean, like it's something that a lot of people tend to ask me. So for me, it's like I started at two ages, like like drawing for as a hobby and not knowing anything at like the age of 8, 9 maybe, but like seriously at 22 years old.
Okay. Great. Luzba asks, if you were not an artist, what would be your occupation?
I love to sing actually, so maybe like theater. I love musical theater or just like singing. Yeah, I know that I would end up in something related to art, maybe not drawing, but
Okay.
something related to art. Yeah.
Okay. Sanuko, no, sorry, Sunako BL asks, do you recommend to study art in LATAM, or best to invest and to study elsewhere?
I would really suggest going somewhere else. It's
Okay.
not that you cannot find good teachers here in Latin America, but a lot of them are teaching on virtual, like sites, like websites, courses, like for other people in other parts of the world, or they're working in other parts of the world. So the thing is that here schools are, yeah, are good if you're like a beginner, maybe intermediate level, but if you want something more advanced, I would suggest to go like abroad, Or you don't even need to go anywhere else. You can study in your home, going to some courses online. Like that's the advantage that we have right now. You do not need to go out from Latin America to learn. You can just like pay courses or pay classes with amazing artists out there that are teaching. You just need to check out their socials to see if they are teaching, if they are teaching and classes or courses. But I would suggest that.
Okay. Pau Martinez asks, and you mentioned them before, but if you can mention them again, what artists you aspire to and highly recommend following?
I think that I think that that's hard because I think that a lot of people, when you ask them their favorite artist, you have something specifically. Wait a second.
Okay. No problem.
Mexican moment right now, so I'm like, okay, wait a moment.
Okay, okay.
Hold up.
No problem, no problem. Okay. I'm gonna be.
Latin America moment. Like I live in Latin America. That's the proof that I live in Latin America with the tamales guy. Okay.
I missed
Yeah.
it. I don't know what happened, but anyway.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. I think that for me, it's like I have a lot of different favorite artists that I would recommend for different things, but that's me. Like for example, I really love Ranja and Huang Wangyan, that are two Chinese artists, because I love the way they work with textures and color. But for example, I love Artgerm, and I love Artgerm understanding of the face and the anatomy. But I love Sarah Fleur because I love how she incorporates, like glitter and holographic iridescence. So for me, it's like I love different artists for different things, but that's like because that's the thing that I want to learn from them. So that would be my recommendation. I also like a lot Wop, another Chinese artist. I love the environments that he creates and all the atmosphere and storytelling. So that would be my suggestions.
Okay. All right, we'll take a few more questions. Thunder Trap asks, wait, there was one that I liked from the beginning. Gabriel Castillo asks, like, how long would you consider it would take to a beginner artist to commercialize art?
I think that it depends a lot on what type of like drawings do you want to make and what are you aspiring to be. Because for me, like I think that merch it's kind of like easier to get in, because that's like if you have the money, you invest on your merch and you sell it. Maybe selling it's a little bit hard, but it's easier than like getting into like Riot or Blizzard working for them.
Right.
So I think that it depends a lot also on how quick you learn. And people learn at different, like times. Like I maybe I'm quick learning, maybe you're slow learning. And that's fine. But I think that it depends a lot on what do you want to make, what do you want to work at, and also what type of job are you aspiring to. Because maybe you want to work at Riot, but the level they require is really high. And but that I want to work for Riot as a character concept artist, so it's like, okay, maybe I can start to learn concept art, but it's like it's not only learning concept art, like it's anatomy, it's color, it's volume, so it's a lot of stuff. So maybe if you I think that if you sit and you decide I'm going to study or something, maybe 1 or 2 years until you can commercialize it and maybe work at those type of jobs. But maybe if it's merch, it's going to be less time, because it depends a lot on how much money you have to invest in merch, and then how much that merch it's going to be sold. So it's really hard to know, but maybe like 2 3 years. There's artists that I know that took like 6 years. So it depends a lot. I would suggest don't worry a lot about like time. Worry more about your portfolio, because people like your work and are going to hire you, not because like from which school you came from or something. They are going to hire you because of your portfolio, because they like what you make. So don't worry if you are a slow, slow learning or you are quick. Just like try to focus on getting better at what you want to do.
Okay. All right. Um, Maria Diaz asks, "I'd love to know what are your goals this year."
I think that my goals are producing more personal art because when you do merch, you also need to think about like making art for merch. So I think that last year I was too focused on creating content and making art specifically for merch that I was like, okay, this is hard for me to get to make complex illustrations. So for me it's like making more complex illustrations with more storytelling.
Okay. I see here someone asking if the contest has finished. No, you can still participate on the contest until February 8th. All right. And we had Thunder Trump says, "What is your process in coming up with new ideas of what to draw?"
I think that for me, it's that I watch TV shows or TV series and I get inspired from them. So then I get inspired and I was like, okay, maybe I want to make something with, like really I love scene or something. So I begin to search based on that, like I love storytelling. So that's the reason that I take shows and like cinema as references. So I take maybe one still and I'm like, okay, how can I make this frame something that I would do. So I begin to search more references and I begin to, like mix everything into one final drawing. So for me, because I love storytelling and I love, cinema color palettes, that's the reason that I go to that and I get inspired by that. But it would depend a lot on other people, like there's people that get inspired by, like just scrolling Pinterest. Or like I love this reference and I'm going to draw it, or going to their socials and watching other artists, drawings or something, and it's like, oh, I love this. So I think that it would depend a lot, but for me it's like going watching something I like, getting inspired by it, and just like drawing and like mixing.
Okay. All right. We'll take one final question, and that would be from Pasadashi. What was the hardest thing that What was the hardest thing you learned to draw when learning to draw?
For me, I think it would be um buildings perspective in environments, because in environments you just not only have like the character and that's it. Like you have maybe a lot of light sources. You have also buildings with a lot of tiny details that you need to learn how to render in order for them to look like realistic. You have the environment, like which color is like the most predominant in the painting, or how does this light affect this building, and I think that's the problem with environments, that you need to take in consideration a lot of stuff. Like maybe you don't care about anatomy because maybe you're just painting some environment outside with trees and everything, but you need to take like in consideration like a consistent light source, that the colors, all the colors fit and feel that they like are cohesive and everything. So I think that environments are the hardest ones.
All right, good. Okay, thank you so much, Sahlarei, and the chat. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat here, for being with us today and asking a lot of questions. I hope you guys enjoyed our first episode. We're gonna do an episode of the XPPen podcast every month, and we'll be bringing you different artists, hopefully, that want to be here, there are as cool as Sahlarei, to share their story and share a lot with us, and also give you tips on how to become an artist yourself, like Sahlarei did today. I think, Sahlarei, you shared a lot of very important and very useful information that a lot of people can use when they're trying to decide how to go about this. And okay, I cannot just do commissions, I can do different things. Maybe people are like, they don't have like the wide perspective of what they can do, and I think your conversation was very helpful. Yeah. All right, cool. So thank you so much for being here. And if you have any closing words for aspiring artists, let them know right now. And also, most of them already know, but where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me in any social as Sahlarei, and also thank you for being here, also for like supporting me always. And I hope that these advices are helpful to all of you. And thank you again, XPPen, for having me here.
All right. Okay, everybody. Uh, until next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.